Hey guys, it's Tricia Carr. I have new exciting things going on with my Mystic Arts Academy. You can now subscribe to receive all of the live monthly content for about a third of the investment of a single class. Included are at least one downloadable guided meditation per month, 2 live events ranging from classes, channeled messages, group readings, intuitive development guidance, Q&A sessions, and tons of community. You'll also have access to a private Facebook community for fellowship and support, and this space is kept super sacred and high vibrational. Your subscription gives you access to the whole library of classes and live events, which are on a vast array of topics. All events are offered online by Zoom video call, and many are also offered live in person at my studio here in Los Angeles. Subscribing to the Mystic Arts Academy is also a way for you to support the Charmed Life podcast and engage on a deeper level. I'm offering the subscription at a super low rate of $22 a month. Joining now locks in this rate for as long as you're subscribed. Click on the description of this episode or go to my website, triciacarcharm.com, and click on Mystic Arts Academy. I look forward to connecting. Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Charmed Life. I am your host, Tricia Carr, and if it is your first time joining me on this podcast, welcome. Thank you so very much. I am so blessed to have you here. And if you are a regular listener, well, thank you so much for that as well. And you may have noticed that I shortened the intro. I'm doing a little bit of a couple of tweaks here and there with this podcast. First being, I'm just going to shorten the intro like I've been doing for my mini episodes. I do mini episodes in between these main episodes that are released every Sunday, and you can watch them live streamed on Facebook and YouTube as well as on my website on the special broadcast window. And so I'm doing that. I'm switching that up a little bit. And I don't know, some other things. I'm probably going to shift the shot because this is also on YouTube as an audio, as a video in addition to the audio. And I may actually go and sit over there on the couch. I have to move my microphones over there. Wouldn't that be kind of cozy? Wouldn't that be fun? And then I have my guest over there with me. Anyway, I probably am boring you guys, so let me get down to it. This episode, I'm also doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be playing you a live channeling event that I held in one of my classes that I have in my Mystic Arts Academy. So just to tell you a little bit about that, it is something you can drop in on or you can subscribe to it as a member at a really affordable rate. It's only $22 per month. You get 2 classes per month. And those are given live, and you can either come in person here in studio if you're local to Los Angeles, or you can participate by video call, by Zoom. And then in addition to that, there is at least one live group meditation that will be delivered to you as a downloadable produced MP3, but I've actually been doing those almost weekly, where we get together almost every week, and it's been so powerful. And I don't want to bore you with that stuff either. You can go and look at it. The link is in the description. But it's been really powerful. It's kind of developing as a consciousness project. And that's actually what the subject of this next one is, prayer, the power of prayer and consciousness projects. But what we're talking about today is something from a class, it's a few months ago at this point. And this is just an excerpt. I channeled the Archangel Chamuel. And so this is a live channeling. I mean, it's recorded at this time, but it's unedited. And it's just me live channeling, bringing through a message from Archangel Chamuel about the mind, the human mind, the whole quantum mind of the human. Now, if you are again, new to this podcast, let me just tell you that what we talk about here is all manner of spirituality, metaphysics, mysticism, and intuitive and psychic abilities, living that intuitive life. I am a hypnotherapist, and I'm an intuitive channel, a multidimensional medium, an animal communicator. And so really it's about all of those intuitive consciousness expanding. And, sometimes we get out there and we get wacky and we I'm channeling an archangel, or I'm interviewing someone who is talking about, working with benevolent ETs and having out-of-body experiences and all kinds of things. So we can get really wet, wild, and wacky and get out there, and then very practical about healing modalities and consciousness expansion. And so this is one of those ones that's it could be esoteric if you're new to channeling. And so let me talk to you a little bit about channeling, and then we'll get right into the excerpt. Channeling is not being possessed. Channeling is working with a fluid connection from a particular energy, and that sometimes can be the higher self. Channeling is a very natural and normal activity. I believe that artists channel, and so that would be something akin to either channeling muses, like the Muse, I should say, in case you aren't, not muses, as in the Muse, the band, or music. I'm not saying music wrong, but channeling a muse is what they used to call it, or the higher self, or some kind of collective, maybe your council of light. That could be what it is that you are channeling. And then you can also channel individual consciousnesses or individual experiences of energies. And so the archangelic realm is that realm that is really proximate to source energy. And when I say proximate, this isn't something as in better or worse or any kind of hierarchical experience. What it really is about the structure of the universe and how the story unfolds and is told. And so that archangelic realm is something that humans tend to orient to and give names as though they are individuals. And so there is an individuation and an autonomy kind of experience when we connect with these entities. But really they are much more vast than any limitations that humans give them. The name themselves are really just a very human experience to help us to benchmark and come back to the energy and continue to have a relationship with that energy. Names are really and truly human. The reason it's so very human, and I say that not only to set a distinction from, say, other beings like angels and masters and even our past loved ones. To some degree, the past loved ones maintain a name because of the human connection, because of how it helps us to orient and understand them. But even in nature, animals and nature, they don't really use names except for in their relationship with humans. And that's because we are so verbal and we are so focused on the physicalized expression of connecting. And that's great and that's fine. Obviously, our animals do love their names because it is the way that we connect, and it is a special gift that they share with us. So the name Chamuel is something that is mentioned as we enter into the portal in this channeling. And that name Chamuel means, is it he who seeks God? And that is explained in the channeling as well. Now, when you're channeling, there tends to be the use of a plural pronoun like we. And that's when you are connecting to the higher frequencies energies, or the energies that are service to others, the energies aligned with unity and one energy or love energy. And the reason for that is because it is more of that unified connection. And even though we are thinking of it as the individual Archangel Chamuel, it really is a collective that we're tapping into. And it is just having this face of the name and the energies that we tend to associate with that pillar of light, as you may call it. And so channeling is the experience of more of that fluid, direct flow of energy, of messaging. And it is when the conscious mind is standing aside and observing. And so this is what happens in meditation and hypnosis as well. The conscious mind stands aside and is observing. And this happens in claircognizance and any of the times that we are psychically or intuitively connecting. So it is the subconscious mind that is welcomed into the experience. The conscious mind is still perhaps present, and maybe more, sometimes it's not that present. And so when I'm channeling, I get a bit of amnesia a lot of the time, because the conscious mind is the one that maps and analyzes and kind of keeps things in a box. And so I don't necessarily always map it to the conscious mind, or I map bits and pieces. And that could be the same when you're witnessing someone channeling, because you are brought into the experience. You are induced and altered in your subconscious mind. And that's great. And so I explain all of this as to invite you to receive it that way. Some of it may feel a bit esoteric, and that's just fine. If you open up your energy and bring yourself into it, then it could act as an attunement. And so attunements are when energy is being received directly into the energy body, and there is activation of perhaps spiritual DNA talents, blueprint pieces of your soul energy that may not have been as lit up or just want to be brightened even more. You could call it energy healing, and I do consider it a form of energy healing. And even moreover, because healing is calling something whole that was previously in the illusion of it being not whole, it may be just to activate, to even more awaken and even bring into an even higher understanding or activation. Again, I keep using that word, of that particular part of your energy. And so that could be what is being experienced. You see, the way the mind works is, and I don't actually recall what Chamuel talks about, what is in this channeling that's coming up. But the way the mind works is that we have the conscious mind and we have a critical layer that is protecting the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is actually 88% of our total mind, that conscious mind being only 12%. The subconscious mind is how we enter into the I am, the individuated I am, which is seamlessly part of the one I am. And that critical mind is this kind of layer, this filter that is protecting the subconscious mind. And so when we are able to relax that critical mind, we drop attunements, we drop new knowns, we drop new beliefs, if you want to call them, but we shift and we change what is going on in the matrix of that total mind. And so that's what can happen. And it may be partially known by the conscious mind, like I say, observed by it, or it may be a little bit more obscured, but nevertheless, when it is welcomed in, the energy is received and the work is done. The activation, the healing, the awakening. And now for the channeling, which I'll start here in just one moment. In the channeling, there is a spontaneous exercise. Well, the whole thing is spontaneous, but there is an exercise that Chamuel or the energies that are being channeled lead us into, and it is a meditative experience. And so if you are able to find a way to be relaxed, to be in a place of more meditation, maybe close your eyes, breathe into it, or you could watch the video, but certainly to really let yourself be altered and then to move with the guidance of this energetic exercise. And it is a visualization of a sphere which represents the quantum mind, but I believe it represents more than that. It probably represents the whole energy body. It may represent the whole light body, but it does also represent the neurology, the physical and non-physical expression of the mind. And so the channeling starts with me priming, me bringing in the energy. I just thought you might like that bit. So if you're listening, I think there's a bit of a toning with the bell and some breathing. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you'll be able to see me welcoming in the energy and you'll see the change and the shift. And so that's how it starts. So if you hear a little bit of silence, that's a part of it. And then at the end, there's a little bit of silence as I'm coming out, and I will see you on the other side. Allowing myself to be stepped aside. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks. I'm going to do a little toning. Welcoming the clarity that humans bring to this interaction. And this is the energy that is called by the humans Archangel Chamuel, the one who is called He Who Seeks God, as the mystic name is defined. And so we say, you are he and she who seek God. And we welcome you into this experience allow us to first explain the definition of the word God as it pertains to the energy of unity, of the energy of the law of one. God is the energy of that which exists in every single living essence. And when we say living, we mean everything that is, could be, has been, and anything that contains energy. And so you see in this that we mean everything. The only thing which is not everything is the thing that was the thing before the things. And that energy was the energy of source, was the energy of prime creator. And we say was because that energy was not defined and was not of anything that was known by any kind of mind concept. And so in order for there to be a concept of mind, the energy that we now call source, God, prime, the first energy had to think. And the thinking is you. And in the seeking of God, you find yourselves. Because the one energy, the true energy, is the energy of God. And so this Archangel Chamuel, this portal of divine communication, welcomes you into your own energy to know it truly, to know it fully. And so this takes us to the concept of mind. Humans have a unique experience upon this plane of manifestation of matter, in which they experience a veil. They experience a strong separation between illusion and truth, between illusion and all that truly is. And this illusion is what becomes more experienced in the walking upon the life, upon the planes of created form of the earth, of the expression of the energy Gaia. And your mother Gaia, she thinks you into existence as well. She knows you into existence. And as you tread upon the plains that is the earth, you receive her knowing. And as you tread upon the plains of the earth and you allow the energy that is thought and feeling to curse through your being, you are seen and known and experienced by God. And so the veil that seems to exist so strongly, so palpably, between the known and the illusion, the truth and the illusion, in so much that the known is a part of the illusions and more of the awareness is arrested in knowns inside the mind that you may refer to as the conscious mind. And at times you call this the ego mind. And at times you call this the brain. The learned experience holds within it that which are considered to be knowns, but in truth they are unknowing. They are things that are passing away and things that are distorted in many instances. Many of the knowns are merely associations that were made with a brief moment of trauma, a brief moment of strong separation being observed or being presented to the one. And so, in the mapping of this, what humans create is this conscious mind or this ego. And a strong veil of separation is then put between this area and the expanded area of the one mind. The singular peace that you hold of the one mind. The place where these knowns are penetrated down into it, down into the depths of this unconscious or this subconscious. This is the connection to the one mind, and yet you put a layer upon it. And these unknowns, these associations made with pain and trauma and separation energy, are dropped down onto a layer, and it becomes something that is not fully in the understanding and the full consciousness of the mind of the human being. And so the true effort comes in when one is attempting to experience connection. And it is efforting when it is done from this place of the unknowing. And this is when you see things in your society that would be countries and societies and separation consciousness, and even as it trickles down into pestilences such as the abhorrent ways that the intimate act of sexual connection is treated, and the ways that this is used to facilitate separation rather than the intimate truth of the spiritual connection, and that there are intricate societies and very extremely confusing messages that are built into all of these failed attempts to become known and to connect. And we say, dear ones who see this and experience this and that are further traumatized by their observation of it, we say, worry not. It is not for you to solve those puzzles. There is no true answer to those puzzles. There is no way to unwrite the message that has been formed in these errant ways. And we say, let it be, let it be, let it be. And we invite you to understand that the thinning of this veil between the seeming two minds is not something that needed effort ever. And that the way that you can recognize both the polarity and the singularity of your mind is to come into the present moment and to be in your own essence. And at times this is experienced as a floating, as a separation from the experience of being not on the earth plane. And in this, as you float seemingly up and away into the ethers, into the cosmos, you will then recognize the earth as something that seems to be far and away. And this experience is one that can be uplifting and one that can be unifying. You see, dear ones, you crave this experience so much, that which many consider in your spiritual communities to be ungrounded. You crave it so much because it is a seeking of balance. And seeking of balance is to seek God. And so we allay any concerns of guilt or rejection that would say that when I am ungrounded, I am not connected. We say sometimes this is a retreat, and this is a moment of being disconnected, in quotation marks, as you call it, from that which is form, from the mired down, dense experience of form. And we say, allow your mind to drift up into these cosmos, into these ethers, into the interdimension. Because as you are in the interdimension, you are also in all dimensions. And so we validate this for you. We validate this experience and we say, dance with us and have a celebration. Have a celebration in these ethers, in this party. We invite you to do this every day. In your personal inner communion experiencing, we say, have at it. We say, go for the stars. Because, sweet, dear children, you spend so much time in the mired down experience of the physical, in the unknown experience, in the unknowing. And so we welcome you to spend many a minute, many a present now in the ether, in the cosmos. And we say this is a wonderful antidote and will facilitate integration and the thinning of this veil. And in your yearning to have a whole experience in every single present now, we validate that this is a possibility. And the way to walk about your earth, even though you are moving amongst the societies and the intricacies and the pain and the disease, we say that if you allow the heart and the mind, the higher, the lower, the middle, all of the mind that you may observe and experience, and you facilitate it into the heart and the brain that exists in and through the heart, the physical instrument as well as the energetic instrument, then you will have the whole experience. And you will find that that veil is perforated and indeed so thin that it barely exists. And do we ever allow this veil to be lifted forever? Well, the answer to that, children, is that this will be lifted forever once you are no longer creating a physical form. But while you're in the physical form, it is a game that you get to play. Now, it may be so thin that it is not hardly an impediment at all. And this is an experience. And so you see, it becomes a tool. It becomes a part of the game to be able to have this awareness between this density and that levity. It is a part of the fun of contrast. But you can live with your awareness upon all of the parts. And by having the gentle awareness upon, even if it is a completely transparent veil between the fullness and the partiality, then we say, enjoy this. And then do jet yourself off into those cosmos, into those ethers many times a day. Celebrate it every hour. If you allow yourself, you may. You may spend several minutes or several seconds. It doesn't matter. The now is the timeless experience, and you will become the eternal youth as you experience the timelessness and the fullness of your whole mind. In the last experience in which you connected with the archangelic energy called Haniel by humans, it was discussed the quantum mind. And this was discussed in the energy of the body. And the quantum, this facility, this knowing, this measurement that humans are using, is the small experience of the everything, the infinite finite. And so you may have a quantum mind as it was experienced in the last lesson. The quantum mind is the experience of the whole mind. It is the experience of the whole body, and it is the experience of the perspective of spirit. And so through this matrix, that is the fullness of who you are, you may be lifted even while you are levitating gently ever upon this plane. And as you are known by your Mother Gaia, you are seen by your God, and you are experienced by one another. Then you are expanding this experience. We say there is great purpose to what each of you are thinking, feeling, experiencing, knowing, flowing in and between one another. And we say that as you experience the essence of God, the God that you are, the God that thinks you are doing a great purpose. And there is never a moment in which you may be experiencing discordance that you are not doing the work of expansion. The work of expansion is not work at all. The work of expansion is the never-ending story. And even as you discontinue creating an incarnated expression, you will be doing the work of expansion. And we say to you that you will want to do the incarnating again and again and again. Because the mechanism of the dual mind is the most powerfully expanding experience. Even your nature, even your animals, they admire the experience that you have. In truth, they become annoyed and frustrated. Yes, they do, dear ones, because they hurt for you as you hurt. They love for you as they wish that you would love yourselves more. And so take to nature. Take to animals to be reminded of the whole mind, because in nature, because in the animals, there is only one mind. Even as they experience a perspective of fight and flight, they are utilizing the whole mind. They are utilizing the concept of only one energy, and they are honoring all experiences. And we invite you to honor all experiences. All of the experiences that you create, allow yourself to take responsibility for them, and to also surrender to the lack of responsibility that every single creature and human has in the highest truth, by the perspective of only one energy, by the law of one. This is seemingly contradictory, but in that contradiction, in that paradox, is the observance from the Prime Creator. Prime Creator, God energy, does not mourn, for it knows that nothing ends. And so in you, as you experience the bittersweetness of something that would be mourning, or exquisite pain, or melancholy, we invite you to feel the depths of the other side. Allow that veil to be thinned even if you are in the depths. And see the heights that you can travel in the moment, in the presence, in that timeless experience, in eternal youth, in the spherical experience, in the sphere, in this divine sacred geometry of the sphere. You are held in the greatest of power. Your awareness comes into one as you meditate upon it. And so we invite you now to meditate upon the observation, the sacred geometry of sphere. This is your mind. This is the one mind. Breathe into this concept of this sphere. If you see it as a circle, a flattened circle, if you see it as a sphere that expands in the 3D perspective, recognize that as it is 3D, it is more. It is more than the 3 dimensions. It is omnidimensional. It is containing everything, and it is also containing nothing. This is the first thought of the universe. This is the first thought of source energy of God. As we all together hold this image, this experience of the sphere, allow your divine breath of life to breathe into it. Your Mother Gaia breathes you into existence. Have a knowing, a visualization, or a pretending of a sphere. And let us all synchronize breath. Even the angels breathe with you in this moment. And holding this image of sphere, we invite you to do this as often as you choose, to create the timeless experience, to come home to the one energy, to come home to you who seek God. Visualizing this sphere, this sacred geometrical shape, your mind becomes whole. And now we invite you to imagine poles that exist inside a sphere, like your magnetic poles that you observe in your spherical earth plane. You can see that there would be an infinite amount of poles that could be existing in a sphere that is your mind. And with your imagination, with your awareness, draw poles in this sphere that you hold in your awareness. Allow them to extend from one point of the sphere to the diametrical opposite. And if you see it as a line or a plane, now allow those poles to swap position with one another. And now allow those poles to move 45 degrees around the sphere. This is a mind exercise that helps the integration of the full mind. In the times when you are experiencing a thickened veil, when you are deeply in the illusion, when you're feeling the pain and suffering of separation, hold this sacred experience. Visualize, pretend, or imagine the sacred geometrical shape of sphere. Draw poles, and you may allow them to be a line or a plane inside the sphere. You see, as it is a plane inside the sphere that is being conducted by 2 polar energies, you are now taking control and becoming masterful of your own mind. You may see this plane that is drawn by the poles inside this sphere and allow it to become completely transparent. You can see that this is as if a joke was being set up and then there was a punchline. And when you've come through the full story of the setup of the joke and then the punchline, there is great levity, having experienced the setup and the punchline at once. This is the experience of allowing that plane to become thin. And with this exercise, you are integrating your own mind. You are looking at your very own neurology inside your very brain, inside the quantum mind, the energetic experience of one mind. You come into unity and wholeness with this exercise. And so now, allow the poles and the planes and the lines existing inside the sphere to become clarified completely. And now breathe a cycle of breath into it, clearing it up inside and around this sphere that you hold. And now, have a game with this sphere. Become creative. Allow lights and colors and other shapes to exist around, inside, and on the surface of the sphere. Become as creative as you choose, or allow it to become completely transparent, having just a knowing, as if it is a transparent line, spherical drawing, something that might be a gelatinous experience that is just a slight thickening of energy. Allow it to become one single color, or allow it to become a multicolored Easter egg. Is there a play going on inside the sphere? Are there ones dancing outside of it? Is it brilliantly lit so that it exudes from within out into the rest of the experience? This is your creative experience. This is your creator energy that you are able to manifest. This is how you exercise it. Become creative with this sphere, this sacred shape. This sacred shape is your mind. This sacred sphere is the one mind. In this moment, as you hold this shape, you are one. And you are the powerful creator that you have always been. You are outside of the experience of illusion, peering into it as the one who knows the whole joke, the one who knows the whole story and appreciates all of it. And now, when you take another divine breath, allow yourself to clarify the sphere entirety. Experience the peace, the empowerment, the presence of holding this shape. And this is the exercise that we give you, the message that we give you from the energy of Chamuel, he who seeks God. And we bless and we thank each and every one who would connect with this experience. And we validate you. We tell you, you seek God and you find God. And we bless you for all of the work that you are doing in this ever-expanding now. Hey, guys. And so thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode. I hope you received something from the channeling. I hope you received something in your heart, in your mind, and your spirit. And I want to invite you to check this out on YouTube if you like. If you're watching on YouTube, then I invite you to listen to it on the podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes. And also, if you would like, subscribe, share, comment, and review. If you want to review the podcast, that would be amazing. Give it 5 stars if you like. Just write a little something, whatever you like. I really do appreciate it. It helps me to boost it up in the algorithm. And if you're interested in the Mystic Arts Academy, just check in the description of however you're watching or listening, and you'll be able to see a link there and check it out, see what classes are coming up. And also what comes with that, if you do subscribe as a member, are downloads of all of the past meditations. So you get a ton of meditations right up front, and also replays of all of the classes that we've ever had. So that's it for this show. I hope you'll join me next time. I have some really exciting guests coming up. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tease it. I have Matt Kahn coming on the show, you guys. Sometime in the next several weeks. So I love you for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for shining your light on our beautiful world. And as always, thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.